The top story this hour: Ethiopia qualifies for 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. And Sierra Leone appeals for aid for 7,000 victims following devastating fire. A very warm welcome to Addis News Hour. I'm Solomon Danye. Thanks for joining me. Ethiopian national football team is qualified for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations that will be held in Cameroon. A goalless draw match between Nigeria and Madagascar helped Ethiopia qualify from its group with 9 points. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, as well as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Demeke Mekonnen, have congratulated Ethiopians on the victory. Ethiopians across the nation are also expressing joy over the success. Ethiopia has qualified for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations competition, which comes up in Cameroon next year. In the final Group K games, the Walia Antelopes lost a game against Cote d'Ivoire, but a draw between Madagascar and Niger pushed Ethiopia to qualify for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. Haptama Shagri presents the story.
So it'll be interesting to see how this match plays out. How will Ethiopia, will they be aggressive in attack going forward and then have to deal with maybe a counter?
The Ethiopian national team has qualified for the 2022 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. In the final stage game, Ethiopia was defeated by conceding 3 goals to Cote d'Ivoire, but the draw result of Madagascar with Niger pushed Ethiopia to qualify for the 2022 African Cup of Nations. In the early minute, the Cote d'Ivoire national team scored 2 goals against Ethiopia, and following these goals, Cote d'Ivoire seemed to secure comfortable win.
Should be the pattern of the match going forward.
Serge Aurier to deliver. That's a good one. And there's the opening goal. Just 3 minutes into this one, the Elephants have the lead.
The Cote d'Ivoire national team scored the third goal, and the only goal scored by Ethiopian national team striker Getane Kebede at the second 45.
For Kouassi. One-on-one with Yusuf. Is he brought down there? The referee spotted a foul and promptly points to the spot. No hesitation from Ben Lebulu, as you know, because those replays weren't exactly clarifying. But here is Frank Kessié to hit a spot kick against Shanko, and he makes no mistake. Doubles the Ivory Coast's lead. Touch of the ball. Does it back to the left back. Tries to squeeze it in. Here's Besha. He's got options in the box. He wants to do it himself. Squares it. And Ethiopia pulled one back. Well, it was clumsily done in the end, but it doesn't matter because
Whoever's been the center forward for Cote d'Ivoire with his bully are now.
Riddell, Kouassi skips through too! And just like that, an immediate response from the Elephants.
At 83 minutes, the central referee collapsed due to health complications, and assistant referees have decided to end the game after discussing with the captains of the two teams.
A little dizzy. He's a little dizzy. This is not a good sign. It's very hot in Abidjan. Hope he's well.
It has to be something with the...
About ready to check in. He'll have a word with the captains now as we go into stoppage time, which will be very, very lengthy here.
It's got to be another, what, 10 minutes of stoppage time, I would think.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed yesterday visited the new VIP terminal being built at the Addis Ababa Bole International Airport. Senior government officials also joined the Prime Minister in visiting the terminal, which is nearing completion. Pleased to witness with the Council of Ministers the transformation taking place within Bole International Airport by the Ethiopian Airlines Group, the Prime Minister tweeted after the visit. A modern aviation infrastructure has taken shape, featuring a new terminal, VIP terminal section, business lounge, and other facilities with an overall focus on biosafety and biosecurity. The terminal is part of the expansion project of the Ethiopian Airlines Group. Construction of the project was launched 4 years ago. Collective efforts from the public and the security personnel is said to be critical to foil attempts of individuals and groups who try to wreak havoc in clandestine during the election. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed made the remark while speaking at the Addis Dialogue Forum held at his office. We have more on this story. Panic rises whenever a general election approaches in most of African countries. The ramification often appears to be painful. Dealing with post-election convulsions and insurrections is a painstaking task countries ought to go through in the continent. Ethiopia is set to hold the 6th general elections with mixed feelings of hope and desperation. The postponed election seems to be imminent. The Electoral Board showed determination by slating the date a couple of months ago. Peace and security issues are on top of the manifold fears surrounding the election. At this dialogue, which has been happening intermittently at the Prime Minister's office, in its recent gathering seeks to find solutions for potential risks that trail the election. Speaking on the event, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said collective effort from the public and the security personnel is critical to foil attempts of individuals and groups who try to wreak havoc in clandestine during the election.
በዚህ ምርጫ እድልም አለ በዚህ ምርጫ መከራም አለ እድሉንና ችግሩን በትክክል የሚገነዘብ
Both fear and hope are at stake in the coming election. Such dialogues are quite important to aware the public about both outcomes. Our enemies are waiting eagerly for this election. Several countries are investing a huge sum of money to use the election to destabilize the country. Those who know this conspiracy strongly believe that the election should not be conducted. Others, on the other hand, try to see the repercussion of cancelling the election. And above all, the incumbent has no mandate to cancel the election. Our position is unequivocal. We want to make the country come out of the election as a winner. We all should have the readiness to accept defeat, thereby allowing the country win. No citizen should be involved in any convulsion during post-election. We all should act in a civilized manner. What I can assure you right now is that there will not be any instability in the cities, because we allowed all observers and we have no intention to wreck the election. But we need to be careful in the countryside. We have to foil the sinful crimes and conspiracies of those paid armed elements operating in the country.
Discharging responsibilities at all levels should get due attention to ensure peace and security during the election, it was noted.
ምርጫ የፖለቲካ ስቴኩ በጣም ከፍተኛ ስለሆነ የመንግስት ስልጣን የሚወሰንበትም ስለሆነ
As election is a means to climb to power, everybody who vested interest in it may use illegal means. Citizens might not only be intimidated by the incumbent, there might be others who use intimidation to turn the election to their favor, so everyone should discharge their responsibilities to curtail such inappropriate actions during the election. We don't usually focus on our duties as we do to our rights. This should be chastised. Ignoring our responsibilities won't enable us to build a healthy political system that we aspire. Hate speech is becoming rife in our mainstream and social media. We all have got to know that hate speech is an international crime. It disrupts the healthy public discourse. So, due attention should be given to stop that and ensure law and order.
The gathering also deliberates on the importance of accepting defeat and establishing the baseline for democracy so that the coming generation will enjoy a better peace. Different media leaders approached by TV say they are doing their level best for the conduct of free, fair and democratic elections in the country. They've underscored their respective media organizations' readiness to work on awareness creation and independent reporting about the 6th general elections. Allah Teklamaram has compiled their views as follows.
ብሮድካስቲንግ ኮርፖሬሽን ብሔራዊ ሚዲያም እንደመሆኑ ለሌሎቹ ሚዲያዎችም አርአያ የሚሆን በመሆኑ
Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation, as a national media house, is expected to play its fair share in ensuring free, fair, and democratic election across the country. We are ready to equally serve all political parties. Our media will work in accordance with the regulations of Ethiopian Broadcast Authority and Ethiopian Election Board during the election campaigns.
ከወገንተኝነት በጸዳ መንገድ
ሂደቱ በጣም ሰላማዊ እንዲሆንና ህብረተሰቡ የሚፈልገውን
Fana Broadcasting Corporate is doing its level best, tending different political ideologies to create public awareness about the election and make the process peaceful.
እኛም ደግሞ እንደ ዋልታ አስቀድመን የሚያስፈልጉትን ነገሮችን አድርገን ነው ያለነው።
We, as Walta Media and Communication, have been setting various activities in connection with the 6th general election to help the general public know about it. We also identified programs that can contribute basic inputs for the election.
እና ዳንግላ የሚለው ስያሜ የተሰጠ በመጀመሪያ ዋግምራ ወይም ሰቆጣ ከሚባል አካባቢ ላይ 7 ወንድማማች አገዎች እንደመጡና ወንድማማቾች ወደዚህ አካባቢ ይመጣሉ። ሲያዩት ለምለም ቦታ ሆኖ ያገኙታል። ሲፈልጉ እና በቋንቋቸው ሲነጋገሩ ዳንግ ራሱ ዳንግ ነው ስሙ። የት ሄደ እላ ማለት ባገውኛ የለም ማለት ነው። እዚህ አካባቢ የለም እና ዳንግላ የሚለው ስያሜ ከዚህ አንጻር የመጣ ነው።
የከተማዋ ጉዳይ ከበፊቱ አሁን የተሻሻለ ነገር ነው።
You're watching Addis News Hour. The Western world is now showing growing interest to critically realize the realities on the ground in Ethiopia. That's according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The ministry has held its weekly press briefing yesterday. The briefing also highlighted the fact that Ethiopia still maintains its stance of fair and equitable utilization of the Abai River. Kasal Jani attended the briefing and compiled the following story.
Spokesperson and Public Diplomacy Director General Ambassador Dina Mufti has briefed the media on issues of Ethiopia's ongoing political diplomacy, the situation in Tigray, trilateral negotiations on the ground, the Ethiopian Renaissance Sudan, economic and citizen-based diplomatic activities. Accordingly, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Dammaqe Mokonnon met with a delegation led by the United States envoy to Sudan and South Sudan. Ambassador Donald Buzan explained Ethiopia's water share on the Nile and signified the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Sudan in lifting 60% of Ethiopians from electric power shortage-induced darkness.
We have had a delegation led by the Ambassador Donald Buzz, former ambassador to Ethiopia and current envoy of President Biden to Sudan and South Sudan. He came with a delegation and he had a conversation with the Deputy Prime Minister, particularly on the Grand Renaissance Dam and the tripartite negotiations underway. Ethiopia, though it is a source of 86% of the Nile water, has not been beneficiary for years, and it could not use that opportunity of utilizing the Nile. The delegation was briefed about the fact that more than 60% of Ethiopians are languishing in the dark, though they are legally entitled to use the Nile River and its resources for electricity generations.
The discussion highlighted that Ethiopia has legal and sovereign right to use the Nile water for fair and equitable development, and that Ethiopia has no interest in harming the lower riparian countries in doing so.
Ethiopia adheres to the principles of equity and the rational utilizations. Ethiopia is not intended at hurting the downstream countries that are Egypt and Sudan.
According to the spokesperson, the Deputy Premier assured the United States delegation that regarding the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Ethiopia has always been committed to resolving issues through negotiations in a way that addresses the concerns of Sudan and Egypt.
We have been always at the forefront. We have been always out for the negotiations, and Ethiopia has been always faithfully renegotiating on the tripartite forum. This is what the Deputy Prime Minister briefed the delegations. Now also Ethiopia believes African problems can be solved by the Africans themselves. We respect the African wisdom, and the current negotiations which is underway under the auspices of the African Union, we hope it will prevail. We hope it will succeed. This is what the Deputy Prime Minister has briefed the delegation led by Ambassador Donald Buzz.
Regarding the situation in Tigray, Ambassador Dina said Ethiopia has agreed with the United Nations Human Rights to conduct joint investigation into alleged atrocities claimed to be committed in the region.
Otherwise, over the last 1 week, various Ethiopian missions abroad were briefing different stakeholders in the countries of their residences on the current situation in Ethiopia. In this regard, we can mention particular instances of our missions to New York that has briefed representatives, ambassadors representing their countries at the UN on the current situations in Ethiopia, particularly on the current situation in the northern part of Ethiopia. As far as the situation in Tigray is concerned, as you know, Ethiopia is willing to and out there and cooperative for the investigations that should be carried out so as to investigate into the allegations of the human rights abuses. In this regard, Ethiopian Human Rights Commission has agreed with the United Nations Human Rights Commissions to carry out the independent investigation needed in this regard.
Concerning economic diplomacy, Ethiopian exporters were able to present quality shipment and payment modalities to their Algerian counterparts.
Our missions in various countries also have had webinars that carried out introducing Ethiopian products abroad and participating on the exhibitions and linking business entities. These activities were seen by our embassies in Algeria. They brought together coffee importers and coffee exporters. That is, coffee exporters from Ethiopia together with the coffee importers in Algiers. They have had conversations. They have been talking about the qualities of the coffee, the shipment.
He also did Tourism Ethiopia in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs give online training to various mission leaders under the team Land of Origins.
The Ethiopian ambassador to Sudan, Yibeltal Amiro, has consulted Mohammed Ahmed, a Sudanese lawyer, on protecting the rights of Ethiopians who are sentenced for committing crimes. The lawyer works for Ahmed Zarug law firm in Sudan, and the discussion with Ambassador Yibeltal was specifically on ways to protect the rights of convicted Ethiopian citizens for crimes of very grave nature. Previously held consultations between Ambassador Yibeltal and the state criminal lawyer had helped to suspend a death sentence on an Ethiopian citizen who was about to be executed last week in Sudan. At the end of their consultation, Ambassador Yibeltal expressed gratitude to the lawyer and pledged to work together with the law firm to help Ethiopians be protected and get justice in accordance with the laws of the land, according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Ethiopia's energy demands have kept pace, but only 27% of the country is currently connected to the national grid, according to documents. The death to electric access costs thousands of lives of Ethiopian women amid household air pollution. Alula Teklemaram tells us the rest of the story.
The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is the largest in Africa, spans the Blue Nile, and will produce a whopping 6,450 gigawatts when it's fully operational, 3 times as much as Egypt's Aswan High Dam, giving Ethiopia the ability to connect every single citizen to the electricity grid. The dearth to electric access costs thousands of lives of Ethiopian women amid household air pollution. That's why millions of Ethiopians like Mrs. Lemlem are still looking forward to the completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, meant to address various socio-economic challenges.
We use firewood instead of electricity to cook our food, and we use charcoal to make coffee. Had we got access to electricity, we could have saved our times and health.
Documents show that millions of women have lost their lives in the region due to household air pollution.
We waste our time collecting firewood. Of course, we collect it here at Ntoto, but what makes it hard is the cause of the smoke. The smoke impacts our eyes.
Having realized the magnitude of this problem, Ethiopia strives to galvanize its economic sector underpinned by huge energy supply. The GERD is thus a highly anticipated project to make that happen, and Mrs. Lemlem and other Ethiopian mothers long for its completion.
In hope of our economic change through the dam, we contribute our monthly salaries for the construction of the project. We are hopeful, as we were in the past regarding the completion of the dam. We hope to get electric access like others.
Ethiopians are doing their level best to complete the dam and commence power generation by 2023.
The Minister of Health says the practical support of the China government and people to Ethiopia show that the strong friendship of the two countries continues to grow. Ethiopia has received 300,000 doses of Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccines from China. Meanwhile, the Chinese ambassador to Ethiopia, Zhou Ziyu, says despite causing many troubles to the world, COVID-19 has strengthened the Ethio-China ties. Emmanuel Jorge reports.
The people and government of China handed over a donation of 300,000 COVID-19 vaccines to the Ethiopian Ministry of Health at Bole International Airport. China is the first to provide Ethiopia with vaccine aid through the bilateral intergovernmental channel, which speaks volumes of the profound traditional friendship between the two countries. Ethiopian Health Minister Liya Tadesse noted that the support from Chinese government and its people ensures the continuation of strong partnership of the two countries.
The collaboration and partnership between these two countries has been really immense, and the support of both the government of China as well as organizations, private foundations and other organizations in China have been extending their continued support in the fight against the pandemic to Ethiopia. A true show of solidarity and strong friendship and partnership between these two countries that has always been there but continues to grow. And we do hope that this will not be the last donation we will receive. We hope that more will continue. And again, would like to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude for this generous donation by the government of China. And would like to again also thank the Chinese embassy and the ambassador and his team who have been working hard to make this a reality.
During the handover ceremony of the China-aided COVID-19 vaccines, Chinese ambassador to Ethiopia Zhao Ziyuan said, though COVID-19 has posed a threat to the global economy, but it has strengthened the bilateral relationship of Ethiopia and China.
COVID-19 has brought tremendous changes to the world, but it will never stand in the way of the burgeoning growth of China-Ethiopia relations. China was among the first to contain the virus and reopen the economy, and the only major economy with positive growth in the year 2020. We are confident that Ethiopia is able to put the pandemic under control and achieve economic recovery at an early date.
Managing Director of the Cargo and Logistics in Ethiopian Airlines, Fitsum Abadi, says Ethiopia will continue the existing pivotal role in distributing necessary items, including vaccines, as part of the fight against the pandemic.
We have brought this vaccine in a temperature-controlled, very new aircraft, Airbus 350. And as you could see, it is again in a temperature-controlled cold dollies. This is because this vaccine is directly related with human health, and that's why we are still making sure that the integrity of the medicine is kept right, so that human beings who can get this vaccine can be more healthy. So in the fight of this COVID-19, Ethiopian Airlines has been playing a major pivotal role to distribute the PPEs to the entire world. And now again, we are playing the same role in distributing the vaccine to the entire world. And we would like to confirm that Ethiopian Airlines will stay committed to distribute the vaccine to the entire world. We are at your service as usual.
China is donating the Sinopharm vaccines to 80 developing countries in urgent need. Ethiopia is working to immunize 20% of its population by the end of 2021.
Ambassador Kasa Teklebrahan meets with Taizo Yamamoto, the chairman of Marioma Kumoto, a construction company specializing in installing basement structures. Ambassador Kasa has briefed the chairman about Ethiopia's favorable investment climate and existing opportunities for prospective investors in various sectors. The ambassador particularly elaborated on construction projects identified for a joint venture in Ethiopia's 10-year transport perspective plan. Taizo Yamamoto, for his part, expressed his company's keen interest to invest in exporting construction machinery to the Ethiopian market and to involve investment construction. The chairman also expressed his company's readiness to offer training opportunities for Ethiopians and transfer technological know-how to its specialized areas. And finally, some 7,000 ex-residents of a slum in Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown, destroyed by fire last week, require emergency assistance, the country's disaster management agency said on Monday. On the evening of March 24, a fire completely destroyed the slum of Susan's Bay on the Atlantic Ocean, one of the largest in the city. The authorities have not recorded any dates, but 409 people were injured and over 7,000 people were affected by the disaster. Almost 3/4 of disaster victims sleep outside, while 16% stay with host families and 5% in their homes, according to the Disaster Management Agency. The government has pitched over 53 tents and is currently providing water to around 5,000 people, it was noted. The European Union, the United States, and the UN have indicated that they are ready to come to the aid of the victims. Before we go, a reminder of our top stories. Ethiopia qualifies for 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. And Sierra Leone appeals for aid for 7,000 victims following devastating fire. That's it for the news. For me, Solomon Danye, and the rest of the English team here in the studio. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.